Do the best you can with what you have. And while you can, you don't need everything to start. You just need to do the best you can with what you have. Right now. Right here. That's the secret. You see, most people wait. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until the stars align, until everything's just right. But let me tell you something. That moment never comes. What comes is now. This day. This opportunity. This moment in front of you. And the question isn't, do you have everything you need? The question is, are you willing to give everything you've got? If you will change, everything will change for you. Doing the best you can isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It's about showing up fully, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one's clapping. Because when you give your best, every day, in every way, you start becoming someone different, someone stronger, more focused, more valuable. And in time, life will reward that effort. It always does. Let's explore what that really means. To do the best you can, and why that decision changes everything. Do the best you can, no matter what. Not because someone's watching, not because it guarantees success, but because it's who you are becoming in the process. Now let me say that again. Do the best you can, no matter what. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But most people overlook this rule. Not because they don't understand it, but because they underestimate its power. Most people are waiting for the motivation, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for someone to tell them it matters. But let me tell you something important. The best time to do your best is right now, especially when it's hard. Anyone can do their best when things are easy, when the skies are blue, when the money's flowing, when the applause is loud. But when it's tough, when you're tired, when it feels like nobody cares, that's when it counts the most. Because life is testing you. And the question is, will you still give your best when there's no guarantee of reward? That's where character is built. That's where confidence is earned. That's where growth begins. Now let me be honest. It's tempting to give up early. It's easy to justify slacking off. It's easy to say, why bother? But every time you choose to give your best, you rise above the average. You separate yourself from the crowd. And here's the secret. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Most people don't fail because they couldn't do better. They fail because they chose not to. They allowed their circumstances to define their effort. But you don't have to. You can show up. You can give all you've got. And you can do it consistently no matter what. When you give your best effort, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to build integrity with your own word. And slowly, you become someone who doesn't quit. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Those little choices to give your best even when it's hard. They compound. They add up. And over time, they transform you. You become more confident, more focused, more disciplined, more capable. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. Let me share something I've learned. There will be days when it's hard, days when you feel tired, days when nobody notices your effort, days when progress feels invisible. But those are the days that matter most. Because when you push through them, when you still show up and give your best, you prove something to yourself. I'm not just here for the rewards. I'm here to grow into someone better. Now don't fall into the trap of comparison. Your best may not look like someone else's best. You may be starting from further back. You may have fewer resources. You may be carrying more weight. But none of that matters. All life asks is that you do the best you can with what you have where you are. And that's fair. That's powerful. That's freedom. Because you don't need permission to try. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You don't need applause to keep going. You just need to give what you've got fully. Effort tells the truth. Always. When you look at your day, your schedule, your work, your relationships, ask yourself, did I do the best I could today? Not perfect, not flawless, just my best. If the answer is yes, you can sleep with peace. If it's no, Tomorrow is a second chance. Effort is a mirror. And when you give your best, that reflection becomes something you're proud of. From now on, give your best. Even when you're tired. Even when no one's watching. Even when you don't feel like it. Because every time you do, you raise your value. Not just in the world, but in your own eyes. And that's where real change begins. Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high, where the pressure is on to perform at your best. You are capable. You are strong. You are responsible. So give what you've got right now, right here, no matter what. If you don't set high standards for yourself, someone else will, and you may not like where they set them. Let's talk about standards. Not the ones set by your boss, not the ones set by society, not even the ones set by your past. I'm talking about the standards you choose to set for yourself. Because here's a truth worth remembering. Doing your best isn't just something you do. It's something that reshapes who you are. And the moment you commit to doing your best consistently, something incredible happens. Your standards rise. And so does your life. Now, what do I mean by standards? Standards are your baseline. They're the level beneath which you refuse to go. They are not your goals. They are your requirements. You don't try to meet them. You live by them. And when you raise them, your effort changes. Your results change. And more importantly, you change. So many people wonder why they're not moving forward, why their goals stay goals and never become reality. It's not because they're lazy, not because they're unmotivated. It's because their standards are too low. They accept being tired and calling it a break. They accept sloppy work and call it good enough. They accept excuses and label them reasons. But listen, you will never rise above the standards you've set for yourself. Don't major in minor things. If you tolerate mediocrity in your work, in your habits, in your thinking, you'll keep living a mediocre life. But raise those standards and everything starts to shift. Now let's connect this to doing your best. Every time you give your full effort, you're reinforcing a message. I don't settle. I do things well. I give full attention to what matters. You're not just completing tasks. You're reshaping your identity. And identity drives behavior. You start thinking like a high performer. You carry yourself with confidence. You attract better opportunities. You build trust with yourself and others. All because you've made one powerful decision to raise the standard of how you show up. Let's talk practically. When you do your best at your job every day, people notice. Maybe not right away. Maybe not with applause. But eventually, value rises to the surface. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because when you grow, your work grows. When your thinking sharpens, your results follow. You don't need to chase promotion. Promotion starts chasing you. Because high standards are magnetic. They attract excellence. Doing your best isn't just physical effort, it's mental clarity. It's refusing to entertain small thinking. It's questioning your limits. It's replacing I can't with how can I? That's what raised standards do. They push you past your excuses. They pull you into growth. They sharpen your focus. You begin to expect more from yourself and deliver more in return. Even the small things matter. How you wake up, how you speak to others, how you take care of your health, how you manage your time. They're all reflections of your standards. And when you do your best in the small things, you start training yourself for bigger things. Success doesn't start with big stages and bright lights. It starts in the quiet, invisible moments of self-discipline. And that's the secret. Raise your standards privately and watch your life grow publicly. Some people ask, how do I know I'm getting better? Simple. Look at your effort. Look at your focus. Look at your consistency. You may not always control the outcome, but you always control your standard. If you've been given 70% effort, raise it to 90%. If you've been getting by with average, habits tighten them. If your goals have been wishful thinking, attach action to them, not because someone told you to, but because you demand it from yourself. Let's be clear. Raising your standards doesn't mean you never make mistakes. It means you don't accept excuses. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're in pursuit of something greater. And every day, you do your best. You become a person who expects more, gives more, and gets more out of life. Success is what you attract by the person you become. So become someone who gives their best, not once a week, not when it's convenient, but every day. That's how you elevate. That's how you expand. That's how you win. Do your best today. And when tomorrow comes, do your best again. But remember, your best will not always look the same. And that's okay. That's growth. Let's talk about something we all face on the path to success. Change. Now, I want you to write this one down. Your best today won't be your best tomorrow. And it shouldn't be. You see, your best is not a fixed point. It grows. It stretches. It evolves with your character, your habits, your thinking, your hunger. And when you understand that, you stop judging yourself unfairly and start growing with purpose. Here's something to think about. When you begin your journey, your best might be just showing up, just waking up early, just not quitting, but give it 30 days of effort. Give it 90 days of commitment. And that best you were once proud of, it becomes your new minimum. That's growth. That's expansion. That's the human experience. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. Every time you do your best, your baseline improves. You get sharper. You get stronger. You start operating with more awareness, more confidence, more excellence. And before you know it, you've raised the bar, not by force, but by consistency. Here's where people get stuck. They compare their best today to what they did last year, or last month, or during a season when they had more energy, more time, more momentum. And when today doesn't match yesterday, they feel discouraged. They think they're falling behind. But let me remind you, your best will always change because you are changing. And that's not weakness. That's wisdom. Learn to work with the seasons of life. Some seasons are for planting, some for harvesting, some for resting, some for building. But in every season, your job is to do your best right now with what you've got. Sometimes the best thing you can do is adjust. Life will throw curveballs. Your routines may shift. Your energy might fluctuate. Your circumstances will evolve. But your mission stays the same. Do your best, not someone else's best, not yesterday's best, your best today. You cannot make progress without making decisions. Decide to grow. Decide to adapt. Decide to give full effort, even when the conditions aren't perfect. That's how you build a flexible, durable mindset, one that thrives in any environment. Let's talk about the idea of upgrading your best. You see, what was once impressive to you can become second nature with repetition. The first time you woke up at 5 a.m., it felt heroic. The first time you read a full book in a week, the first time you tracked your habits daily, it felt disciplined. But if you keep doing it, it becomes your new standard. Now what? You upgrade. You go deeper. You stretch further. You add new layers of effort, focus, detail. That's what winners do. They don't just maintain, they elevate. Don't just go through the day, get from the day. Every day is an opportunity to evolve your standard. To ask, how can I sharpen this? How can I improve this? How can I make my best even better? Now let me make something clear. Doing your best doesn't always mean going all out. Sometimes it means pacing yourself wisely. There's a myth out there that says you must grind 24/7 to succeed. But burning out isn't excellence. It's exhaustion. Some people don't do well simply because they major in minor things. Don't burn yourself out doing everything at once. Choose wisely. Focus daily. Be consistent. Because in the long run, it's not who sprints hardest. It's who shows up daily that wins. Sometimes your best will feel like fire. Other days, it might feel like a flicker. Both are okay. The key is to respect the effort, even when the results seem small. Because every version of you, tired, inspired, unsure, determined, deserves to be honored when you give your all. Let me repeat that. Every version of you is worthy when you give your best. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest with your effort. And when you give that, you can hold your head high. So here's the message. Your best will change. That's not a reason to be discouraged. That's the reason to keep going. Because every step forward is progress. Every upgrade in your thinking is power. Every new level of effort builds a new level of you. Success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. So become someone who grows. Become someone who adapts. Become someone who keeps showing up. And no matter what, keep doing the best you can. The real test of character isn't what you do in front of others. It's what you do when no one's watching. Let's pause right there. Let that line sit with you. Because in the pursuit of greatness, in the climb toward success, one principle separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Integrity. Doing the right thing, the honest thing, the excellent thing, even when no one knows. Even when there's no applause, no recognition, no immediate reward. That's what builds something more than achievement. That's what builds legacy. Now, let me ask you a tough question. Who are you when the doors are closed? When the cameras are off? When the deadlines disappear? Because that version of you, the one no one sees, that's the real you. Character isn't something you put on like a jacket. It's something you reveal in the quiet decisions of daily life. You see, it's easy to perform when someone's watching. It's easy to give your best when you're being measured. But what about when you're alone? That's when your standards truly reveal themselves. Now here's the trap. Some people only give effort when there's pressure. Only stay disciplined when they're being observed. Only speak well when it benefits them. But when the spotlight's gone, the effort fades. The habits slip. The excuses begin. And what they don't realize is they're building a life on sand, not stone. Because anything you build without integrity will eventually collapse. Don't just do what's easy. Do what's right. Success doesn't start in the open. It starts behind closed doors. In the quiet. In the discipline of early mornings. In the extra effort no one asked you to give. In the honest choices no one sees. Let me say it straight. The unseen work builds the visible life. Want the results people admire? Then put in the work they'll never see. That's how champions are built. Not on stage, but in silence. You must learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because when you build yourself in private, you become unstoppable in public. Let's talk about something just as important as achievement. Self-respect. When you do what's right, when no one's watching, you build trust with yourself. And that's powerful. Because when you trust yourself, you stop second guessing. You stop hiding. You stop needing outside approval to feel worthy. You carry yourself differently. You speak with confidence. You walk with quiet certainty. That's the fruit of living with integrity. The greatest reward for your effort is not what you get, but who you become. Here's something practical. The habits you practice when no one's watching, they shape the way you live when everyone is. If you speak truth in silence, you'll speak with strength in public. If you study when it's inconvenient, you'll shine when it counts. If you train your discipline alone, you'll carry power into every room you enter. Private effort becomes public excellence. There's no shortcut. There's no cheat code. Just quiet, focused effort done daily. That's the formula. One of the most painful things in life is living a lie. Pretending to be committed when you're cutting corners. Acting disciplined when you're secretly scattered. Projecting confidence without internal character. But you don't need to fake anything. When you've done the work for real, when you've put in the hours, when you've honored your word, when you've done your best in the dark, that's when you can live with peace. That's when your life aligns. That's when your success becomes sustainable. We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Choose discipline, even in silence, even in solitude, because the cost of integrity is high, but the cost of regret is higher. So I ask you again, who are you when no one's watching? Are you a person of principle? Are you doing your best, not for the reward, but because it's right? Are you shaping a life that stands tall, even in silence? That's integrity. And integrity builds legacy, not just success, not just wealth, but character that echoes long after you're gone. You can impress the world for a moment, or you can inspire it for a lifetime. And the difference is this: do your best when no one is watching, because that's where greatness begins. Don't ask for things to be easier. Ask to become better. Ask to become stronger. Ask to become the kind of person who does their best no matter what. You've learned that doing your best isn't just a task. It's not a temporary strategy. It's not something you do only when you're motivated. It's a way of life. Because in the end, it's not about what you do. It's about who you become. You see, success doesn't come just because you want it. It comes because you've grown into the kind of person who deserves it. Let me say that again. Deserve. That's the key word. You don't get success just by showing up. You get success because you've earned it. You've shown the discipline. You've kept your promises. You've done the work day after day when no one noticed and no one applauded. That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes you different. And in a world full of shortcuts, being a person of consistency stands out. Success is something you attract by the person you become. It's not about the outcome. It's about the identity. Now let me tell you something you may not hear often. Even if the result takes time, even if it looks like you're not winning, even if progress feels slow, if you're giving your best, you're winning. Because you're building something far more important than a goal. You're building a reputation. With the world, yes. But more importantly, with yourself. When you live by the principle, I do my best in everything I do, you develop a sense of pride no paycheck can match. A sense of peace no title can give you. You begin to carry a quiet strength. You walk into rooms with confidence. You speak with clarity. You work with excellence because it's who you are. Here's one of the greatest rewards of this journey. You learn to trust yourself. You no longer need motivation. You've built momentum. You don't have to chase inspiration. You've developed discipline. That's rare. That's valuable. That's powerful. When you know you've done your best, you sleep well at night. That's peace. You can look in the mirror and say, I showed up today. I followed through. I did what I said I'd do. That kind of integrity builds unshakable belief. And belief is what carries you when times get tough. Life will challenge you. There will be delays. There will be detours. There will be days when nothing seems to work. But here's the good news. If you've built yourself to do your best, no matter what you're ready, you're rooted. You don't break when the pressure comes. You bend. You adapt. You grow. Because you've built a foundation on discipline and effort, not on feelings or circumstances. For things to change, you have to change. And when you change, you become resilient. You become reliable. You become real. Let's go deeper. Don't just do your best when it's convenient. Do it until it becomes your nature. Don't just rise to the occasion. Build the capacity to stay consistent. The goal isn't to impress others once in a while. The goal is to build habits and identity that last. Show up early. Follow through on your word. Give 100%, even in small things. Push a little further than you feel like. Live like it matters because it does. That's how you become the kind of person who always does their best. And that's the kind of person success is attracted to. Doing your best starts as a decision. Then it becomes a discipline. Then if you stay consistent, it becomes part of your identity. And when something becomes who you are, you no longer need to think about it. You just live it. That's how legends are made. That's how legacies are built. One honest effort at a time. Start with what's easy. Stay with what's consistent. Finish with what's excellent. You may not see the fruit today, but you're planting seeds. And harvest always comes to those who stay the course. Be the person who gives their best, not because someone is watching, Not because the reward is guaranteed, but because that's who you've chosen to be. Live with so much integrity, so much discipline, so much consistency that your life speaks louder than your words ever could. People will watch you and say, that person, they don't cut corners. They don't look for easy. They don't wait to be told. They just do their best always. And that, my friend, is what builds real success. That is what builds a legacy. You've now learned how to do your best no matter what. Raise your standards. Adapt as you grow. Stay consistent even when no one's watching. And become the person success is attracted to. Now, go out there and live it, because you deserve the life you build when you do your best. At the end of the day, success isn't found in what you have. It's found in what you gave and who you became in the process. So here's the final word, my friend. Don't try to be perfect. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wish for life to be easier. Just do the best you can with what you have, where you are, while you can. That's the secret. That's the formula. If you will do the best you can day after day, your life will not only change, it will inspire others to do the same. And let me tell you something. The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more people who show up with honesty, with integrity, with effort. So today, make the decision to live fully, to act boldly, to speak truthfully, to serve generously, to do your best no matter what. And if you do, you won't just change your life. You'll change your story. You'll change your future. You might even change the world. Thanks for listening. Now go live it.